Welcome back to the coverage here on day one of the Ostrava 2021 World Para Ice Hockey Championships A pool. Here from the Ostrava Arena, myself, Alan March, joined by Jonathan Bell. We'll speak to Jono a little bit later on. The game here that we have to get our teeth stuck into is Norway taking on Italy. Norwegians, medalists in the first 5 World Championships. It's been a barren spell since then. They've missed the podium in the following 5. Italy, they've had as much consistency at a World Championships as any team. Finished 5th or 6th place in all 7 of their appearances. We're into Group B here of the Pool A Championships. Victories so far for South Korea and for Canada, meaning that the Czech Republic host side and the reigning world champions USA with defeat. Young goalies this time around for the Norwegians. Lund and Grönli, just 21 and 25 respectively. 4 new names on the list. Record breaker Lena Schroeder will be known to most if you've read the articles. There's Andre Lucentstuen. Just 32 years of age. The Italians, experienced players aplenty for them. Florian Planka, Sandro Calagaris, Macri and Rosa. Very veteran defenseman indeed. Niels Larch, Alex Enderle, also part of this roster. An average age of 27 for the Norwegians. Not so lucky for the Italians. An average age of 34 for them. Massimo Darin Di Lorenzo doesn't always show his emotions as the Italian coach, but he will want to get off to the best possible start here in Group B. Team RPC on Slovakia, the final game of the night. Bobby Esposito, our referee from the States. Don't adjust your glasses. It is para ice hockey time here from Ostrava. If you've not watched the opening couple of games, quick chance for us to explain that as commentators of these games, we're not actually inside the arena. It is not the best for us. We don't like sitting here, but we are away from the venue due to the protocols in place of COVID-19. Myself here in Bucharest, and joining us live from somewhere just as exotic, Rotherham in the United Kingdom, is Jono. How you doing, Jono?
Yep, really looking forward to this one, Alan. A repeat, actually, of the opening game of the 2018 Pyeongchang Paralympics, which was Italy's best paras to date, getting into the bronze medal game where they were ultimately ousted by the Republic of Korea. But in 2019 here in Ostrava as well, they had their best world championships, finishing in 5th position, pipping the Norwegians to that one in overtime. That was goalless after regulation. Hope for a few more goals here today, though. But I think, Alan, one thing we have seen in the opening 2 games is certainly when you consider how long these players have not played for, it's not going to be immediate that they get into the swing of things.
No, we've seen already in the opening 2 games mistakes, maybe a little bit less sprint speed than we perhaps are used to. Misreading of situations. Roglet of Norway just being spun around, and our first penalty comes rather early, it has to be said. Indiscipline is not a useful tool when it comes to team sport, especially when it leaves you short-handed, and that's exactly how the Italians find themselves. So 2 minutes for Andreoni for holding, and we played less than a minute when that took place. So already, Jono, the Italians giving themselves a bit of extra work.
Yeah, but it's been a good start to the penalty kill. Calaguera, certainly the main man offensively for Italy. He got 7 in 7 at the 2017 World Championships. Not quite as prolific last time around in Ostrava with 2 goals, but if anyone can take an opportunity, it will be the Italian number 9. But first half of this power play so far for Norway has been wasteful, but making inroads now as it floats around the crease and away. But got to make the puck do the work, and what you don't want to see, skaters going gung-ho, chasing a puck down when they've got the man advantage. Here's Nordstoga, though, captain for Norway, who, of course, no longer with their veteran, Rolf Eider Pedersen, one of the best para-ice hockey players in the game's history, playing at over 11 major tournaments. So that sort of experience is a big loss, but as we've spoken about already today, it's all about that turnover and bringing in the next generation. And Norway do have young talent out there on the ice, but so far unable to make the most of this man advantage. Here they come now, though. Kept it, should I say, beyond the blue line, but then, well, what have we got there in the crease? The goal taken out.
It's all going on over there. Not sure why. Don't think the puck was anywhere near it, was it? It was all manner of obscurities, and in fact, just being blocked en route to skating to nowhere was Hamler. Martin Hamler, the innocent party in that one, I suspect. Don't forget, Jono, the loss of Pedersen, not just experience, but he was one of the toughest son of a guns to have played this sport as well. He was, you certainly wanted him on your side when it got a bit tasty.
Yep, absolutely. Well, still a Tano there. Hope he wasn't asleep when that happened. Certainly, if he was, he's had a rude awakening. But last few seconds of the Italian penalty kill, and they've done it successfully. You do think, though, that if that's anything to go by, that start, we'll see a few more penalties during the course of this game. It's all about who takes those opportunities. We saw Canada clinical when those chances presented themselves against the USA earlier. Their 2 goals came in the second period, both on the power play. And it's just having that prudence with the puck and the player advantage to get the opposition where it hurts. But tight start to the match, what we expected, in fairness, Alan. But who will get the goaltenders doing some early work here?
5 opportunities to qualify for Beijing on offer right here. And that is not something that any of these teams will want to let them pass them by. The Italians, as I mentioned at the top of the programme, have a great record of finishing 5th or 6th. This is not one of those where they want to finish 6th. But actually, you take a look at the form guide, per se. Actually finishing 5th or 6th might be a good achievement here. You take the top 4, USA, Canada, South Korea and the Czech Republic. After that, 2 nations that came up from the B pool, Team RPC and Slovakia, almost unknown so far. This one looped towards the crease, no real danger for Stilitano. So with those 6 in the mix already, you feel that these 2 sides are the ones that have got the most to prove. Are they still better? Are they still developing more so than those that come up from B? Can they push those in Group A? We'll find out a bit later because neither have scored and we're heading to a break.
Budeme rádi, když navštívíte další utkání tady přímo v Ostrava aréně. Pokud jste rádi na vzduchu, tak navštivte naši sponzor. Dostupný lístku za 90 Kč, děti zdarma, můžete se tam sladit v naší kumzóně a také se vyzkoušet různé paralympické disciplíny.
Norway buzzing around the Italian blue line, but that's strong from Cavalieri. Planker takes no prisoners either. That one's thundered in. All 3 of those names that I mentioned, really Italian, spent a lot of time on the ice during the 2019 World Championships, and you expect them to do so again, such as Caligaris as well. Nils Larch, another of those you expect to see out there on the ice. Caligaris it was with the hit. It really threatened the Norwegian between the pipes, but if you don't shoot, you don't find out, Jono.
No, certainly not. It's Varnus pouncing to the puck quickest there. He's the man that scored the winner against Italy in the 5th place game in the last World Championships. As I say, came in overtime. It's always a pretty even battle between these 2. I remember the opening game of the Paralympics as well, going to a shootout in that one between these 2 nations. Every game you feel today is between 2 teams who are probably playing their closest rivals. So victory so important, as we're going to see another penalty hit. And it looks like the Italians on the receiving end of it. See what the signal is from the American referee here. And it will be 2 minutes for Alex Anderle. Checking in there to Hamra, forcing him to lose his stick, and well, another 2 minutes for Norway with a player advantage in this first period, of which so far we've played little over 5 or 6 minutes. So it's Larch, should I say, who's in the box. The Austrian-born Italian for interference. Now it's Norway trying to interfere in front of the goal of Stilitano. He's Nordstoga, the captain, 3-time Paralympian. In para ice hockey, he's also had a further Paralympics as an alpine skier as well. It's certainly skills from that sport that come in handy here. If you are new to para ice hockey, you'll immediately notice, of course, that the players are initially, first thing you'll notice is they're sat down, but then they've got 2 sticks as well, which they use to really propel them across the ice. Almost like a skiing style. Stilitano using his single stick to good effect there. But this is good pressure from Norway on this power play, Alan, and you do wonder if they can really stretch Stilitano early on.
It's a good even contest early doors, isn't it? It's nice to see both sides just prodding each other and testing each other out. There's no real clear side on top in the opening minutes of this contest. Neither has been penned in for long periods. 50 seconds or so remaining on the power play. That was just nudged forward by Solberg. Again, the Italians doing a very good job of shutting up shop and getting everything clear. Smashed up the ice. Niels Larch, one player to look out for in this competition. He's the age of 24, competing in his 4th World Championships, would you believe? 2 goals and 2 assists in Ostrava. Very much one of the future names and faces, not only for Italy, but also when it comes to trying to grow the sport. And from such a young age, he is one that the Italians will want to be nurturing. All that has gone all manner of directions except for where Stilitano is looking. And he was rather fortuitous in the aftermath of that one. They're back to full strength, the Italians, and somehow they're still level. Lena Schroeder, 29. This is a mixed sport. It would be great to see more females taking part at the top level, but Schroeder is certainly the leading light as an example for that. That one's hoisted in towards Stilitano, but no dice, as the saying goes. I think Rossa is going to find himself in a spot of bother as well. That's the effort from earlier. You see Stilitano thinks he's tipped that over the bar, Jono, and actually all he did was push it into the air.
Yeah, really good try that from Solberg, and it is important, early stages of a game, test out the goaltender. See what they're like, see if they're themselves a bit rusty in goal after being away for so long. Again, Stilitano just having to put up his left arm there to try and nudge that puck away, but yep, Solberg, certainly one of the more experienced characters in the Norway team. First tournament was actually the 2004 World Championships that Norway won. That's their best ever finish. And they were on top of the world back 17 years ago. Italy struggling to get out of their own territory right now. It almost feels like we're still on the Norwegian power play. But now they've managed to find a gap through, and Larch just couldn't bring it under his spell. And then the offside called after Adrioni had failed to come back into the neutral zone quickly enough. But it's a quick start. No real major chances in this one, though. Norway not being able to make the most of the 2 power plays they have had. So it remains scoreless here between Norway and Italy as we take a break.
blíží se mistrovství světa v parahokeji. A celý Kaufland bude u toho. V Kauflandu víme, že rozhodují činy a právě proto dlouhodobě podporujeme český parahokej.
Is this the period of play then? The deadlock is broken at the moment. Neither side able to disrupt the netting. A couple of half saves more than anything at either end. There's the player down, which has brought a halt. Solberg is feeling it, shall we say, and the medical team wanting to take a look. He's just holding his right side, enough for him to pull up. Take a look. Oh, in fact, yeah, he's just leaning backwards. The back and the sides of those bucket seats don't go all the way up, and as he was leaning down, the DC clocks in one, and I think it's a bit painful for Solberg. Jono, he's lifting up his jersey on that lower right side, down by the hip, or maybe in the kidneys, but whatever it is, it hurts.
Yeah, and it's probably the only part of the body that isn't protected. Unfortunately for Solberg, who got struck in a sore area, and as you correctly say, off-balance himself a wee bit. That didn't help his cause. No wrongdoing from Roberto Radice. But, I think it is worth noting as well, Alan, that when players are unbalanced, when they do fall to their sides, it does take an awful lot of upper body strength to get back up again. And let's remember, it's the upper body strength that is the sole paramount part of this sport. It takes so much out of you physically in that upper body, and if you do knock an opponent to their side, it's going to take quite a bit for them to get back up again. And so Solberg, while he was down, was beaten, and hopefully he will be able to return a bit later in this first period, which remains scoreless. So we see the young goalie Johan Gronli juggling a bit with the puck there. Finally, he's being tested. The Italians watch on with great interest as their side, you feel as though having best period of the game so far. 4.5 remaining in the first period.
Neither side yet really being able to set the Ostrava arena alight. The spectators still around from the opening game. A lot of them coming in and being here all day. 4 games a day for the first 2 days. Certainly worth any admission. At the moment, these two very strategic in their play. But that's a chance that just scrapes ahead of Kalagaris. The angled pass into space, not really able for Kalagaris to get on the end of it, and now Rosa behind the net. Tries to play that backwards towards Kalagaris, who's managed to take it away from the fingertips of Gronli. Again, the Italians just trying to keep it inside the blue. Another big hit this time. Coming in from Hamler. Hamler with the hammer indeed. And they brought some pressure on themselves here. The pass was brilliant. Oh, the use of the stick to keep that out. The arm is raised. You just know that was coming. But it was needed, because without it, that was a surefire goal, Jono. Talk about desperation moves.
Yeah, the interference call from the referee, and you could say it was smart play. It was illegal, but that all came from Santino Stilitano. Came out of his goal initially, and he nudged the puck away from his defenseman, who was coming to sweep it up himself, and that caused confusion. It was then Bacca who got on the puck first, and as he was selfless and tried to slip it across the face, the stick was just surrendered by the Italian, and the interference call made, and conversation still going on. But as I say, Alan, it's still Etano initially, as we're going to have here Bacca with the opportunity one-on-one to try and take the lead, and he takes it. This time around, no one could interfere, no one can deny Auden Bacca, and he gets Norway's first goal of these World Championships. It's Norway 1, Italy 0.
Yeah, it was worth blocking it. You know what's coming, but it's worth blocking it just in case you get that second chance. But Stilitano concedes, but as Jono was saying, really, he was the orchestrator of their own downfall there. A very bizarre pass from the netminder out to the right-hand side, only for a Norwegian to pick it up in acres of space. And whilst the desperate defending might have prevented the opening goal of this tie, Bacca eventually finds it, and we've got 2:44 on the clock in this opening period. We were wondering where any sort of goal was going to come from. The Norwegians might fancy a break again here. They're 3-on-2 if they get this right. Needs to go out to the left-hand side, and it just hasn't. It has eventually made its way there, and it's eventually made its way in the back of the net as well. Oh, sensational stuff. And Bacca it is who rifles that home. What a couple of minutes this is for Norway. The Italians penalised and then dealt with for a mistake before. This time, it's just a natural quality finish. It's great play from Bogle as it comes to Bacca. And doesn't he finish that well, Jono?
Superb. Right in the roof of the net, and Bacca there with two nerveless finishes in probably less than a minute. Brilliant stuff from him. And indeed, 38 seconds after the penalty shot, he now has doubled Norway's lead, and so late in the first period as well. The Italians will be shell-shocked by this, Alan. You did say that really know where the goal was coming from, but to get two quick-fire goals in such a tight contest, it's really going to ask serious questions now of Italy, who are yet to really find a rhythm. And those two goals for Norway surely can only keep them going on an upward trajectory here, as there seems to be confidence just streaming through their sledges right now. But Italy perhaps needing to just consolidate as it is and get through to the intermission without any further damage caused. As maybe there's a break on here if we can get round the side. It looked promising, but Captain Nordstoga came across and efficiently dealt with it. Oh, if they can get their stick here, well, the offside called, but yeah. Tricky times this for Italy, Alan, and you just wonder if the break will come at the right time for them just to regroup and go again.
Well, they need to do something. Just seeing that exquisite finish from Backett once again. And the delight is evident to see. And I said this in Group A during those opening games, and I'll say exactly the same. It's a fairly obvious statement, but getting off to a win is very important. Just takes that pressure away. Nobody wants to end up in that 7 versus 8. They want to be in the 5-6 game. They want to be in the semi-finals. They want to be in the final. They want to win it. Of course they do. But first and foremost, getting inside that top 5 is a huge opportunity, not just for you as an individual, but for the sport of para ice hockey in your country. And that is where concentrations will lie to begin with. And here come the Italians. That's a rifled effort from Enderle. Whistles past the goal. And less than 10 seconds remaining on the clock. Backett and co will try and just see those 10 seconds out without losing any ground in their lead, and they won't. It's 2-0 here. And you have to say, Jono, as we head towards a break, that is a deserved lead, because all of a sudden Norway just turned up the heat a little here inside the Ostrava arena, and a mad 39 seconds saw a double Backett.
Yeah, and it's always a good sign, Alan, when a team is scoring goals when they're not necessarily performing at their best. As far as Italy are concerned, there's a lot of room for improvement there. We've said it already a few times today, but for a lot of teams, a lot of players, it's about getting back out on the ice and getting comfortable and familiar once again with the sport. It's been so long since they last played at a competitive level, but it's a dream return for Backett, with the penalty shot on 17 minutes dead on, and the second goal sublimely finished when the puck was loose and he fired it past the despondent Santino Stilitano. We'll be back after the break. Italy 2 up.
Audun Backett broke the deadlock of the Italian goalkeeper. You scored from the penalty shootout. How confident were you that you're going to score?
About 70-30-ish.
Looked very 90-ish to me. And then the second goal quickly after that.
Yeah, that was. It just slid under the Italians and from Magnus and just shoot it. I didn't even see the goal really.
So how tough is the Italian opponent? It was very, very tight for a long period of the first.
Yeah, we have struggled a lot against them in the past, so we are about even in strength.
All right. Good luck for the next upcoming period.
Thank you.
wasn't the first period that the Italians had perhaps envisaged in the locker room before making their way out to the ice, but they're going to have to live with it. Just the one shot on goal, and that was the big issue throughout. 6 shots coming from the Norwegians, but it was 2 of those inside 39 seconds that did all the damage. 4 penalty minutes for the Italians, demonstrating that they need to be a bit more disciplined going forwards.
Protože tam také můžete ten duel sledovat na velkomočné obrazovce. Vstupné vás bude stát 90 Kč. Pokud jste dospělí, děti zdarma, můžete se tam vyflatit v naší půlzóně a vyzkoušet si různé sporty spojené právě s parahokejem. Takže pokud nebudete mít lístek, nebo nejistujete venku, tak určitě naštěte naši sponzoru a oni vás velmi rádi uvidíme i tady v Ostrava, Ostrava na jednu z těch 4 zítřejších duelů. Přivítejte Norway, Poše zpět a rozhodčí tohoto duelu. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back on the ice, Team Norway! Přivítejte zpět na ledě tým Norska! And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back on the ice, Team Italy! Přivítejte zpět na ledě tým Itálie! A vyzkoušíme se vás, jestli se neztratili sílu po té první třetině. Kdo tady fandí Norsku? A kdo fandí týmu Itálie? Tak se vás uslyšíme i během té druhé třetiny, která začne zhruba za minutu.
Welcome back for the second period in Ostrava at the World 2021 Para Ice Hockey Championships in the eastern city of the Czech Republic. Ostrava, the third largest city in this country. Earlier we saw the host nation take on the Republic of career in a repeat of the bronze medal game from 2 years ago. We're around 2,000 here for that game. And credit to those that have stuck around for this, the third match of 4 on day 1 here now in Group B. And it's Norway leading Italy by 2-0. Leda Schroeder, the only female athlete taking part in what is a mixed event. She, alongside her colleagues, very happy indeed at the first intermission. Auden Bakker with a brace in the first period. Both goals coming in the space of 40 seconds. If that one, a penalty shot, the second one, very opportunistic and clinical finish past Santino Stilitano, who I think, Alan, the number 1 in the Italian goal, he'll be ruining a couple of mistakes in that first period, but then again, his defensemen have got to protect him a bit better.
Yeah, certainly would have been glad to see the backer of that first period, that's for sure. Stilitano, 52. The other netminder in the roster is 47. Gabriele Araudo. There's Larch. Oh, that one's whistled in and high. Once again, it was Bakker looking for the hat-trick, so he's come out fancying it. He's deep near the blue line. This one is hoisted in behind the goal, and that's very neat indeed. Fired in, spilt again, and pushed away only as far as Bakker. Bakker is an option once more to this left-hand side. He's got to stretch. Now needs to go round the net. He might just have found enough space, you know. Oh, another shot goes in and rings around the outside. This is Oystev. Wonderful pass. Wonderful move. Good save. Redemption for Stilitano at that point. For anything he might have been criticised in the first period for, he has kept his side just 2 behind in these opening stages of the second period, Jono. There could quite easily have been a third goal in this one.
Yes, Italy very sluggish indeed at the start of this second period, when really you'd have expected the opposite when you consider the need to try and claw their way back into this one. But credit to Norway, they're really giving it as good as they've got. It feels like that this is another Norwegian power play. It's hard to believe this is a 5-on-5 game, because Italy at the moment looks so stretched, but finally they have custody of the puck. Caligaris, that's neat. Rossa. Pass one, not tidy. And you had Hanna sliding across and using every bit of his frame to get something on it. And here come the red jerseys again. Bakker in the mood for a hat-trick, no doubt about it. I remember when he shot on the scene in the 2017 World Championships in Gangneung. Really impressive with his speed, agility and knack for scoring goals. And he's a defenseman. That's what the team sheets tell us, but well, his scoring record maybe says otherwise, as he's on defensive duty here and stretched by the Italians, who look purposeful once more. Rossa maintains balance as he slips it back. It's going to be dumped in towards the hash mark and, well, easily collected in the end by Norway, who again look to spring defence into attack very quickly indeed. Bakker dumps it, and Stilitano got enough on it to ensure he wasn't red-faced. But it seems to me, Alan, that Italy maybe have steadied the ship here, but they just need a bit more zip across the ice, a bit more zeal to really trouble Norway, although Gronley seemed a bit far out of his crease there to be dealing with that. frantically backtracking as the chance is still on, but again Norway blocking around the crease. Shot comes in now, it's wide. Arguably the Italians' best chance of the game. Didn't have many shots on goal in that first period, just the one on target. As the icing call is made. And, well, pretty breathless start to this second period, in Italy growing into it.
Well, that one had Gronley grasping at falling dust. He was nowhere near it, but it whistled past the right-hand side of his cage, and the Norwegians keep their 2-goal advantage. But you're right, John, in what you said. It was defensively they seem to have shored up a little, and they've sort of prevented a few attacks in the last couple of minutes, but they get themselves over that blue line. It's just a hesitation. I was going to say I thought that was offside, and it came about in the end, but yeah, there's just a hesitation whether to have a go, send one net bound, but almost trying to skate it right to the edge each time. But at the moment, they trail by 2 as we head into a break.
Doufám, vás zase samozřejmě celý týden až do soboty, kdy je na programu velké finále tohoto šampionátu parahokeji. A třeba tam si můžete vyhodit anebo tady fotrová postava na Nery a svou fotku sdílet s hashtagem Ostrava 2021 na Facebook, Instagramu či Twitteru.
Plenty of time for the Italians to get themselves in this one, but so far we've seen 2 games here in Ostrava, and the team that scored 2 has picked up all the points. So statistics are against them, but nobody believes in those, do they? Planker around the kickboards. Back it, getting stuck in, and this has come out for the Italians to try and attack Gronley from the right-hand side, his right-hand side. Nothing comes of it, and shot from the blue line, if we can call it that. Spoliatano just settles on top of it. 2-year-old. There's the puck. Again, both sides in this game just measuring each other up, and we had a couple of good interviews earlier on with players talking about the fact that this is the first time that many of them are getting competitive game time. So maybe, just maybe, we're not expecting the goals that we had here in Ostrava just a couple of years ago. Back it. A chance for the Italians here. Calagaris on that left-hand side, comes in and fires it early. Gronley likes to be a good distance from his crease. That seems to be his style, but it worked on that occasion. Oh, and we're spinning around quite ferociously, and in fact the linesman near side has just brought a halt to that, because Ola Oriseth, the 22-year-old, might just have been a bit dizzy, he went round so often. This is Calagaris on the breakaway a moment ago, and again just an example there, Jono. That's just not quite on point, is it? That's not what was needed there. It needed to be a very firm shot, needed to get it high. Really didn't test Gronli. Well, what I will say is Gronli's style of trying to come out to the edge of his crease when it's being attacked also cut down the angle. So both sides of that to look at.
Yeah, we spoke a bit today, haven't we, about goaltending and how just by the very nature of how it's bottom heavy, you see the size of the pads there that Stilatano's got on to our left. It's always best to go high, and if the goaltender is coming out of his crease and narrowing that angle, then there's less opportunity for the attacker to find that area of the net. Obviously, it has its risks with it as well, but Kalageras, for me, that's a sign of rustiness. His first effort of the game, really. He'd rather it be on his right side than the left. But he'll be hoping that he gets space like that a little bit more in the remaining half of this game, because, well, we are getting to the halfway point, and Italy getting better. And maybe some space to sweep down that left-hand side. That was Ramotti Marini who was attempting to keep play alive. First few minutes for him in this one. But we talk about qualities, also about mistakes. The Italians have made a few. Norway, to date, haven't really in this game. And, well, Rossa there, he's got his teammates scrambling around to keep Hammer at bay. That, again, self-inflicted by the Italians. Macri, look at that. Well, let's try on the Liam Hickey there. That's what we saw the Canadian do quite a bit earlier on. That was a double roulette. Great move. This is an opportunity for Di Paoli. And look at that, back at defenseman by Trey. Quick to the scene. And quick to snuff out the danger. Does feel a lot more even though now, Alan. And, you know, you take out those mad 40 seconds in the first period and the game would have been level.
Just willing the Italians almost when they get over the blue line to find themselves a decent opportunity, but every time either they take it the wrong way or Norwegians find a way of preventing it. Here, Macri, who we saw spinning around effortlessly a few moments ago, is going to get held up by Lena Schroeder against the wall. Schroeder putting in a shift here, holding up Macri, and now chasing across is Venus. Morten Venus of Norway racing around in the number 9, but that's a hit, and Venus just trying to play it inside him, but to no real success, and it really has gone scrappy as we reach less than 6 minutes to go. It's hoisted long, but no real chance for the Italian to get on the end of that. Well, at the moment, that was Bakker cleaning up, and well, I called one in the first game quite early, Jono. It's hard to look past Bakker for the player of the game for Norway, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah, this time of the game it might seem premature, but he has been the standout man for Norway. Italy yet to have anyone that has rivaled his exploits. I think one thing as well in this game, Alan, it's reminded me a lot of the game we saw earlier between the Czech Republic and the Republic of Korea. There was equal endeavour from both sides, but Korea just had that game management, but they also had that ability to carry defence into attack, and the Italians just haven't really clicked in that respect. And you look at Norway here, yes, they give the puck away, but look how they get up the ice very swiftly. Whereas Italy, it seems to become pretty stuck. You've got to remember as well, if you're in those sledges, a lot of the time when it's stuck in the neutral zone, you've got to start from a sitting position. It takes a lot of energy to get that going, but the Italians just don't seem to be as swift across the ice as the Norwegians. very reminiscent, as I say, of the match we saw earlier between the Czechs and the Koreans. That was an ambitious one, which Grönli was able to thwart. But I'll be interested to see if Italy can create one or two really good opportunities before the period is out. The stats at the end of the first period, Italy were bad in every aspect. They've got to win more face-offs, they've got to have more shots. They've kept their discipline as well, Alan, in this period. First period, they gave away 2 penalties. So that side of thing has improved, and maybe a little opportunity to pounce on here. Oh, it's a rebound, it's a double save. Grönli more than earning his corn there. He might not have known much about the second one, he certainly did with the first. And those were 2 really important stops. And maybe there, Alan, him making a name for himself as Norway's first choice between the sticks.
Well, in any sport, goalies are told to stay as big as they can for as long as they can. And fair play to Johan Grönli. That is exactly what he's just done to prevent the Italians not once, but twice. Back here with the block here, allowing Hamri to come across, but it's not away from danger. And here comes Andrioni, and you can understand him giving it the Oliver twist and picking the pocket here. Nordstoga involved as well now. And oddly, despite it being behind their own goal, Norway won't care about this. This is fine. Let that clock go. Less than 3 minutes remaining in the second period, a second period where they have faced a few more opportunities than certainly in the first. But Grönli is showcasing what he's got. The Italians cannot catch a break. You were right, Jono, in what you were talking about earlier with the performance of the South Koreans, holding at bay the Czech Republic, but doing it in style, doing it with solid work, but also maintaining a threat constantly.
Yeah, and we've seen a few scrums through this period as well, Alan, where right up against the board, doesn't matter if it's Schroeder or Nordstoga, the captain, they really ruck in and usually come out on top in those battles as well. And I think we've given Bacca, understandably, a lot of praise, but I think his defence partner, the captain now, Nordstoga, big skates to fill coming in for Rolf Pedersen. And I think he's really led by example, Nordstoga, in this game so far. And he's going to be a very important man for Norway in these championships. But it's an exciting group, isn't it, Alan, when you consider RPC and also Slovakia, almost 2 unknown quantities, particularly RPC. And it might not be as straightforward as Norway and Italy finishing top 2 in Group B.
Grönli there with another big save. He talked about filling the boots of Rolf Einar Pedersen, but at 57, Erik Haugen was finally out of the net for Norway, and that is where Grönli has come in. Emmanuel Lund is just 21, but Grönli here in this second period showing why he's got the nod. So 2 veterans out of the squad from the last World Championships, and both of those replacing them are doing a solid job. Norway are doing a solid job here in Ostrava as well. They continue to lead by 2-0 over the Italians as we head into a break. Less than a minute and a half of this second period then. Again, it's Norwegians to lose. You feel nothing sloppy in the third period, nothing sloppy here in the final 65 seconds will be the first port of call. What is Seth on the end of that push forward? And again, the Italians desperately trying to force the issue, but Ostrava rolling at the back. Less than a minute to go here, Jono. Very similar to the opening two games of this tournament so far. A side that's got to two, almost settling for it, if you like.
Yep. What I would say is the trajectory perhaps favours Italy. First game, no response from the Czech Republic. Second game, half a response from the Americans. Does that mean in this third game of the day, the Italians can go all the way? Well, got a lot of work to do in order to break down the red wall in front of them if they're to get anything from this and force overtime at the very least. But definitely the latter part of this second period has been an improvement from Italy, and Massimo Darin must be slightly more satisfied with that. But as the horn sounds, still no Italian goals. They've managed to shut out Norway, though, in this second period, which might be the bigger victory. Grönli with some superb stops for Norway, which came after a really swift start from the Norwegians. You thought they were going to add a third or a fourth, but the tables then turned, and Johan Grönli, Alan, really put his name amongst some of those contenders that we're already putting forward for player of the match.
Yeah, it's one to call, but you'd have to say if it was an overall player of the match, you're going to have to head down the route of Bakker or Grönli, but it'd be interesting to see where the Italian vote would go right now. Bakker's 2 goals in the first period, then still the difference maker in this first Group B game of the World Para Ice Hockey World Championships here in Ostrava. The A pool, the top 8 sides ranked in the world. And later this evening, we will see 2 of those promoted from the B pool. But for now, we're heading to the break with the Italians with all of the work to do.
Norway against Italy is pretty tight. Andrea Macri is here with me. You've been pretty close to scoring the first goal, but still 0 on your account. What do you need to change in the third period to score?
I think that the second period was better than the first one, of course. I think we have to keep on like that, and let's make some pressure, and we have to shoot the puck in the net. This is the most important thing.
Both goalkeepers are having a pretty good game, but you are unfortunately 2 goals down from the quick succession in the first one. How reliable, how important is it that your goalkeeper is also having a good game?
Yeah, I think a goalkeeper in our sport is is the most important player. It's the beautiful of the sport. So you know, sometimes it's for them, sometimes it's for us. This time, for the moment, it's 2-0, but in the hockey, we have time. We have time to change the result.
You think there's something you would need to do specifically to beat the North?
For the moment, as I told you, it's important to keep on with the pressure, and maybe we will change something, but during the last 15 minutes.
Wish you good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
také my tu fotku vidíme. No a co si tam ještě můžete vyzkoušet ve fanzóně? Například jízdou na indoor sledí, basketbal na vozíku, paraformal, golbal, boču, laserové střílení na terč pro nevidomé, slalom se staveckou holí nebo stolní tenis a je tam toho mnohem více. Prezentace našich skvělých partnerů, díky kterým je tady ten šampionát v Ostravě. Můžete si tam dát vychlazené pivečky, nějakého realtu, něco dobrého na zub. No a připomínám, že vstupné je 90 € pro dospělé, děti to mají zdarma a navíc těchto horkých dnech se tam ještě můžete vychladit a skvěle fandit jednomu ze svých oblíbených týmů. Teď jsou tady skvělí fanoušci jak norského, tak italského. Poledne tady byli skvělí fanoušci týmu českého a uzíka nás čeká další zápas, kde věříme, že tady dorazíte a budete českému týmu fandit. No ale teď máme ještě zhruba 3 minuty do začátku té třetí třetiny, tak DJ, pojď na to! A na ledě vítáme zpět do rozhodčí tohoto zápasu. Welcome back, officials of the game. Dámy a pánové, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back, přivítejte zpět, Team Norway! Dámy a pánové, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back, přivítejte zpět na ledě, Team Italy!
Period 3 of Game 3 on day 1 of the Ostrava 2021 World Para Ice Hockey Championships. Not far from getting underway. Santino Stilitano has been a busy man between the posts for Italy, but his opposite number, Johan Gronli, will be thanked by his teammates for his work in period 2, because Italy looked as though they were knocking on the door and close to getting a goal back in this game, but they still trail by 2 goals to nothing. Auden Bakker with 2 quick fire goals in the first period, still the difference, and that is what really will be playing on the mind of Massimo Darin, who straightens his hair. After, he will hope, straightening things up for his players going into this final period. They were showing signs. They have potential to trouble Johan Gronli. They have to make it count in this final period of 15 minutes now. Live from the Ostrava Arena. This is Group B action between 2 teams. The battle for 5th at the last World Championships. Well, 5th this time around ensures a guaranteed ticket to Beijing 2022 and the next winter Paralympic Games. Oh, that was not an ideal start from Nordstoga, the captain, whose praises we've been singing in this game. It was an open chance and a goal. Cavalieri. In fact, Florian Planka is the man that makes it count. He made that look easy, but you have to say Norway handed it to the Italians on a plate. It still needed finishing, but Johan Gronli will be very frustrated that is the root of him losing his shutout. The Italians half the deficit. They're back in this one.
Well, what a fascinating start to the third period it's given us as well. We talked about mistakes sometimes costing you games. It certainly cost you a goal straight off the bat. Planka with the first effort comes right back out. More annoying, I suppose, is the fact that there were 3 red jerseys trying to hoover up from the first shot, and it just went straight back out to the man that had the chance, and then he just tucked it away. It's Stilitano who's lying on his back. 52-year-old just having a second. And yet, it's all about what the coach says, and we saw him straightening his hair. He certainly has straightened up his team. Massimo Di Lorenzo has now got himself a contest. But thinking back to game 2 of this event so far, Jono, we talked about the United States getting a goal against Canada, and all of a sudden that being a contest. It just never materialised. But what Italy have done is scored so early, they've got an entire period to try and find that second goal, something the Americans couldn't do against their opposition in red. Can these whites of Italy find a way through what has been a very steady and settled performance from Norway so far? Or are we going to have another game that ends with the winning side on 2? We'll find out, and there's plenty of minutes to give us some more drama. Oyster fires one across here. Right up into the corner. Was always rising. And the Norwegians keep it inside the blue line. Moved forward by Solberg. And this time it's the Italians who are working hard. Italiano just nudging it out to his side. Not really doing his team any favours, but Rosa coming across. 24-year-old, part of the new look squad here in Ostrava this time around. Round the boards, this will come in the right corner. It's trickled out from the crease, and Rossa plays it against the boards, but all he's done here is invite a little bit of pressure. That's clever play. Oh, offside. It was the player on the far side not looking there. Back it was trying to weave a little bit of magic to potentially get his third of the game. Does well here. It's Hamri just not watching as Bakker takes another move to his right. Hamri then crosses behind him over the blue line. This is really finely poised now, Jono. It can go either way.
Yeah, and again, as you mentioned, Alan, parallels being struck with the previous game between the USA and Canada, where the USA did score early in the third period and didn't make the rest of the time they had count. Italy have to keep up that level of offensive aggression and strike Johan Gronli while they're hot, because that early goal will have rattled Norway. Uncharacteristic error from Nordstoga. One thing again we've spoken about with goaltenders is shooting high. Planka went low, and Gronli was so unsighted by it, he was not able to tip his sled down to try and block the puck and stop it from going under his sled until it was past him and too late. And that, when there's a melee of players around the crease, it just requires that presence of mind from someone like Florian Planka, who's been around a while, to put the puck home and give us very exciting final 10 or so minutes as we see Magnus Bugler getting some treatment on that left wrist there. And the right one. Well, the Norwegian physio has been busy in this one. Solberg taking a nasty hit to the back in the first period. I haven't seen much of him since. But Italy have got tents inside Norwegian territory. Grunley will make that his. 11:40 remaining of period 3. And I'm sure the youngster will still be frustrated by conceding that goal in the manner he did a few minutes ago. But the Norwegians have to move on. They will move on. If they take their eye off the puck, they will fully surrender the previous 2-goal cushion. That's tenacious play from Oyseth, trying to switch it across the ice, but it's an important interception from Gianluigi Rossa. That's Planker getting across. Can it be turned back in front? There was a bit of room, but the Italian white shirt swarmed around the puck, and maybe a break is on that far side. There's 3 white jerseys with them. 2 making good progress down on this near side. That's Larch bursting onto the scene. They're ahead of Oyseth. Good mopping up from Sunt. One of just 4 defensemen that Norway have named on their roster. Oh, that popped up in front of Grunley. That was almost like a dice being tossed in his direction. But his luck was in. And you feel like, Alan, these are going to be a long 10 minutes for Norway if it carries on at such a small margin.
The longest of 10.5 minutes indeed, although that's poor. That's an opportunity here maybe for Norway. Of course, if they could extend, we've not had a team score 3 here on the opening day. There's a loose stick on the ice, not for the first time. That's what led to the very first goal of this game. And 3 white jerseys, you've got to try and stay on side first and foremost. And here is the opportunity, and they've taken it. What a way! Di Paoli, sorry, has nestled that one home. And it was neat work right from the offset. The 3 of them had to stay on side. They managed it. Di Paoli wanted it and got it from Rossa. Cuts inside back here. It's had an exquisite game, but look at the finish. It's above the helmet. Gronley's gone down low to his left, thinking that's where it's going. And actually, it's gone above his helmet into the top left-hand corner. And we are all square. For the first time today, somebody has managed to come from 2 down. And it's the Italians. Game on.
Indeed, they roll back, and Di Paoli there really composed himself. It sounds like a cliche, but you can almost have too long to think about opportunities like that. And when you've got Nils Larch just to your right-hand side, waiting to be supplied with the ammunition, there was pressure on Di Paoli to finish that, but he did with supreme confidence. And look at the joy for the Italians. And the Norwegians will be thinking, how on earth did that happen? The lead wasn't wiped out quite as quickly as they managed to get it themselves. But it does feel like that this game has completely transformed in a matter of moments. And we've still got 10 minutes to go of this final period. And it's that word, isn't it, Alan? Momentum. It is with the Italians.
I was just going to say, there's still 10 minutes left as well. Brilliant stuff for us to be able to watch. And here, all of a sudden, there's just that extra little bit of zip about both sides. The Norwegians are frustrated that they've let the lead go. The Italians are all of a sudden thinking, hang on a minute, we've not been in this for 2 whole periods. Now we're bang level. The chance to get a victory first day is back on. The Italians, though, heading back towards their own net. Cavalieri in this right corner. Andreoni over to help, and 3 versus 1 and tucked up against the boards here. Makri skates away. Try and create a bit of space for the puck to come loose. It's Linglo, 91, stuck in the corner. Just 18 years of age. Huge experience and a huge chance here. Absolutely huge. He whistles by the post. Well, again, Italian frailty is just allowing the puck to come to a red jersey inside the blue line. Just didn't get any distance on the clearance. Nordstoga trying to move that one up, further up the ice. But a moment ago, what an opportunity that was, Jono. And you feel like maybe, just maybe, the Norwegians should have took that, because they are the ones that are on the back foot a little.
Absolutely. You feel as though chances like that are going to come at a premium now. That said, though, look how frenetic this is getting. These are players now on at least a second wind. The fatigue they will be feeling at the moment will be palpable, but they are ploughing on, the adrenaline coursing through their veins, and that will to win when the game is on such an even keel, and this could be a big decision. Interference against the Italian. Oh, that's a big call from the American official. The Italian, it looks like Radice is certainly perplexed. And we will have a moment to stew over that as we go to a break. But look at that. After no action in the second period, it is the 2 goals from Bacca in period 1 that have been wiped out by Italy in period 3, and we've still got 8 minutes to go.
Well, there we go then. Galagaris, it is, that goes in for the penalty. There's the Norwegians that have an advantage. Not the goals advantage they had at the beginning of this period, but they have a man advantage, oh dear. And that is sloppy, allowing it out of the blue line. They'll go all the way back and try and entice a few white shirts out and just open up the space. Little drop back pass. Over a minute left. The Italians feel that should have been penalised. Bucket goes out to the left side, and here is an opportunity. Shot doesn't come, then it does eventually. It whistles over the top. It's close, but not close enough for the Norwegians. Can they regain their lead? Still one game to come on what has been an intriguing day one. It's not been a goal fest. We got used to the goal fest in 2019. We were hungry for more. We're not going to get that, it seems, by the style of play from these sides. That's just lofted into the corner. Back it will chase. In fact, it's Uglin now. Vernes coming across. And the referee's whistle does eventually go. Nordstoga, he and his team need to find a third goal, having sat pretty. I tell you what, he does well though, John. He takes it out in his right hand, just flicks it underneath, pulls the trigger, gets it high, as we've been talking about, just that bit too high.
Yeah, just a bit too high, and this has been a really effective penalty kill from the Italians, who I think harshly a downer player at the moment. We saw the replay during the break of the offence Calagueras committed, and thought it was very unfortunate that the referee made that particular call. The argument, though, being that Calagueras inadvertently, perhaps, took the opponent's stick under his sled and away from the player. And that is interference, but certainly non-deliberate from what we could see. He's back on the ice, and Italy haven't been punished after a couple of penalties conceded from them in the first period. They have found their discipline, but now they're going to have to find an extra gear when they're going to be aching already. But after doing that chasing for the last 2 minutes with the man down, it's not helped things. Now they've lost one of their own sticks. That was Calagueras again. De Pauli. Oh, that's lovely stick handling from Rossa. Tried to feed Calagueras, who had just held his pursuit over the blue line. But 5 minutes to go. This very finely poised indeed. Who's the favourite to go and take maximum spoils from this one? Or are we going to overtime once again between these two? There never seems to be an inch between them. But you just feel, Alan, with the way this is going, it's going to be one more opportunity for somebody out there.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to stick your neck out here. As Grunli pushes that one away high above his head. Yeah, you wouldn't want to stick your neck out and make a bold statement as to who's going to take it. Grunli this time picking that one out for fun. I have to say, John, I was taking a look at Gianluigi Rossa a moment ago. You were talking about his movement and his stick handling. Been very excited to watch Rossa. New to the squad this time around. Still only 34. So not a youngster in that sense, but certainly somebody that's been very impressive here in this opening game. He's grown into the game as the Italians have. And, it's time to have a chat on the bench, it would seem. Words of wisdom coming in. Four and a bit minutes is all we have here. Maybe just one big chance per side is all we'll get. If that side is lucky enough. Back it over the blue line he goes. Shifts it out to the left. Looking for somebody to pull that back to, and it was just underneath Verens. And Verens didn't quite manoeuvre his body to be able to get the shot away. Morten Verens now played into the back of Stilitano, and he doesn't know a great deal about it. I think he might have been able to find it eventually. This is Backett coming away with it. It's a big hit from Sund a few moments ago on Andrioni. This and gets their side going again. Martin Hamre, 33-year-old for Norway, and they've nicked it here just inside the blue line as well. That's good play from Nordstoga. Dumps it behind the goal line, and again they'll keep it inside the blue line, and this is good at the moment for the Norwegians. That's a high looping effort towards the the cage. Back here on the far side. Wants a little bit of help from Hamlet. Hamlet sees that come off the referee's skate. It's now just drifting down the far side against the boards. Coming in is Solberg. And there is Rossa. Again, Rossa trying to help his team get it out, and they haven't been able to get it past the blue line in the last couple of moments, and they'll be thwarted again here. They've just about managed it this time around. But again, the Norwegians in the neutral zone are the ones that pick up the pieces. Under 3 minutes to go here, Jono. It's anyone's game, 2 apiece. The Norwegians will know that they have let a 2-goal margin slip by. The Italians, they've had the hot spell. They've been under a bit of pressure for a minute or so.
Well, now the opportunity sticks just flying around here. And it just shows the frenetic finish that we knew was always going to come around when the Italians got the equaliser. Smart play to keep the puck exactly where they want it. Rossa, well, he went short side. Not sure how much Grunley got on that. Must have got a piece of it. The Italians have got better and better as this has gone on, and they have completed the turnaround. And at the double is Christophe De Pauli. A second from him, a third from the Italians. Would you believe it? I don't even think they did at the halfway point of this one, but they've come from 2 down to lead 3-2 with just a couple of minutes remaining.
Staggering. Absolutely staggering. How much does he know about it? What he does know is he's got it, and the Italians know he's got it. And everything that was great, in fact, you know what, he knows all about it. That's wonderful. What am I talking about? That's brilliant when you see it like that. The 24-year-old just manoeuvred his right hand, took the pace of the puck coming into him, and diverted it past Johan Grönli, who must be shell-shocked. 2 up, they dealt with everything at the Norwegians, and with less than 2 minutes to go, the turnaround is complete, but Bakker breaks away here. Another big opportunity for him, he takes it with 3 apiece here, Jono. This is absolutely superb. What a finish to this game, what a third period. Everybody wants that 5th place. You might not be able to win this tournament, but you can qualify for the games, and that's what it means. Bakker hat-trick. We are on. It's 3 apiece.
Well, the Italians have made mistakes in this game, Alan, and Stilatano will be probably more furious with that goal than any of the previous 2 for Bakker. Don't get me wrong, credit for Bakker for winning that puck, for surging towards goal, and for drawing in Stilatano before dumping it above his head and into the roof of the goal. But that is careless from the Italians, to have worked so hard to climb the mountain to get to 3-2. They've just surrendered it again, and maybe we are going to overtime after all.
Yeah, maybe we're not. Oh, another chance. What an ending to this. What an ending to this contest. It's kept inside the blue line. The Italians have got to get rid this time. It was Rossa at fault a few moments ago. There was me complimenting him earlier on, and the officials have called a halt to this one. There is a player down holding the side of his head, and that's, of course, certainly in sport these days, anything related to the head, and we want the best possible treatment and the quickest possible treatment. We've seen some harrowing things, of course, over the time at the European Football Championships. I'm sure none of that has gone unnoticed. So it is, of course, any injuries that are potential injuries, and it's Bergler who takes one on the side of the head, and you see just squirms in pain immediately, and let's hope that everything is okay with him. He's being led off the ice at the moment, and again, the best possible medical attention will be given, I'm absolutely sure. Let's turn our attentions to the good not necessarily the ugly. And 3 apiece, Jono, at 2-0. This was just a game over. Let's take a look here. This is another chance coming in. It's a good save from Stilietano, in all fairness, this time around. Back in, nearly having his 4th of the game. But yeah, let's talk about the fact that we went into this period. Norway were cruising. The Italians had offered very little. Now here we are with 6 goals in the game.
And doesn't it feel like a very long time ago now that the Italians got their first one back in this period? They've scored 2 more since. You'd have thought that that's the moment where they'd close the game out. But despite the discipline that we've said they've had in the last 2 periods, threw it all the way, right from the restart. Credit to Norway, though, refusing to lie down and be beaten. And these two will make sure that they do not commit another mistake in the remainder of this game, because it will be so important. And we've said how every first game for every team, really important to get off to a winning start. But when you consider how competitive Group B promises to be, then you probably would puff out your cheeks if you're Massimo Dirin right now on the Italian bench. Into the final minute, and who knows how this one's going to end. Let's sit back and enjoy it, as those athletes do the work out there for their nation.
Final minute of this game. It might feel like a long 40 seconds now. The Norwegians have got possession in the corner, but it's back against the boards. Surely there isn't another one in this game for him. Let's talk about being the danger man for your side. Put them ahead, got them level. Does he have the word winner in him as well? We'll find out fairly shortly, but we haven't had overtime yet. Okay. Well, Norwegians have certainly given their coach plenty of headaches and things to think about. From a comfortable position to being behind. Talk about spirit and character. The heads didn't go down having conceded the 3rd. In fact, it galvanised them to go on and make another opportunity, and that was so close to being a shooting opportunity itself. The pullback cleared away, and that's it, Jono. We are going beyond.
Yep, at the end of regulation, a Bakke hat-trick. In the end, isn't enough to take the 3 points. Both teams have got a point on the board after this one, but who will take the bonus from overtime? It will be a fascinating 4-on-4. I'm just trying to think which side is going to prefer the 4-on-4. Tighter bodies out there, there'll be a lot more room on the ice to exploit. 2 very similar teams. You really do wonder who is going to win this one. And if there's no winner in overtime, we go to a shootout. But as you can see, it's Bakke sandwich with the 3 Italian goals in the middle. Those 3 coming in the final period. And when De Paoli got his 2nd, Alan, you just thought, that's it. Italy, from 2 down, have won the game. But just over 20 seconds later, the strike from Bakke, the mistake from the Italians. And it's 3-3.
What words can the coaches find then? No heading down to the locker rooms this time. A short break. Stilietano will be hoping somebody gets a winner. Nobody wants to be part of the shootout. That's what they train for. Galagaris, helmet off. A relaxed atmosphere, it would seem, on the Italian bench. Don't do that, do that, he says. Well, they need to do what that man says. It's giving them success. Massimo Dorin trying to get his team ready for some additional minutes. We talked earlier today, Jono, about the return to match action, the return to playing games against opposition at the highest level, and what that will do for your body, the fatigue, the potential recovery needed having not played for so long. Well, not only are these the third game of the day, they've waited a long part of the day to do so, they're also going to play a little bit longer. So recovery time is going to start to get shortened with every minute we play extra here. Perhaps not the ideal scenario for your opening game. 3 apiece. Who's ready for some overtime action in Ostrava? Because we are. Only just dishes that out. In your opinion here, Jono, from what you've seen in the opening 3 periods, is there a winner in this, or are we going all the way?
Well, it wouldn't surprise me if we went all the way we did in the opening game of the Paralympics between these two. As we see Caligaris this time take a nasty knock. And what's great to see in this sport is there are big hits, and there is certainly no love lost at times between these athletes, but there is a lot of respect, and as soon as Caligaris goes down there, the game immediately coming to a halt, everyone wanting to ensure he's okay. But the big blow for the Italians if he is unable to see the remainder of this out. He's their talisman in front of goal. But when he's undoing the straps like that, Alan, it doesn't look too promising.
You don't want to lose anybody, of course, but losing somebody of a ranking and a stature as your number 9, perhaps not what you want. That's Ursith battling away, but he's lost it. Now to this left-hand side, there's a bit of space here for De Paoli, who's already got 2. Trying to get the shot away. Grodley this time will not push it out and hold it. And you have to say that Christoph De Paoli has been a real thorn for Norway in the last period and a bit. Got the 2 goals that got them level. And then ahead. But here, he wasn't able to find the target. Back already with a hat-trick. Pearly wouldn't mind one either, and that one's fired in. It comes off and spills out. They're only unable to hold, and then that one round the boards for Solberg, but he can't keep possession. Oh, and Rossa almost with a mistake. His poor pass led to the 3rd goal for Bakke. That's a big hit on Makri. Norwegians try and come again. Don't adjust your TV sets if you're new to this. It's 4-on-4 now. And that one's going to drift into space for the Norwegians, who, with a decent cross-ice pass, might find some space. Bakker just twisting and turning. He's going to get another opportunity on this right-hand side. The 2 Italians have linked up together. Shot comes in. It goes up in the air. Rossa on the far side in the corner picks it up, and he goes down the line. Can they keep it inside the blue line? No, they can't. Through just over 3 minutes to go here. Inside overtime. Rossa, got to be careful of the offside still. Gets away with it. Hit De Paoli again. Inside the blue line it stays though, and it's Rossa once more, and that's jarred away. Now Cavalieri. They just start to regroup once more. A couple of changes. The Italians just looking to keep the puck and then just dumping it down the ice, Jono, here. We've got 2.5 minutes to go in this overtime.
Yeah, and it's not really come alive yet. It's a lot of effort from both sides, but both goaltenders not really troubled. And you've got to remember, you've already played 45 minutes of regulation. Tremendous amount to keep on going right to the last. Here's Oiset. He's got an option square, went alone. Maybe it was the best option when he looked up and saw 3 Italian jerseys swarming around his teammate Varnes. But here's Bacca. Clattered into by Cagliari. The game just ebbing away as we tick towards the final 90 seconds. And the Norwegians there seemingly with no options. Can Norway, who scored the opening goal, complete the scoring? Here's Planka though for the Italians. It's wormed its way through. This is wonderfully done. And a huge, huge save from Grunley. He made himself big. He spread himself wide. And he's made Gianluigi Rossa cursing himself for not winning the game for Italy.
What a moment that was. Huge opportunity. Wonderful play from Rosso. He said earlier on how he's been quite exciting in this game, and he just tried to lift it above the leg pads and just didn't get it over. Nice idea, not executed in the way that he would have wanted. We are getting face to face with the final minute. 1:18 on the clock. Norwegians trapped inside their own corner. Behind the net they go. Drop pass to get them going. Into the neutral zone though, and it's just out of the reach. And we'll have a minute. A minute to decide if this is going to get taken in overtime. That moment ago, that chance from Rossa, the only real big chance, and Italians don't want to lose it there. The blue line, they come on this near side. Macri, he needs a little bit of help, and whilst it's wedged up against this board, no one's winning it in overtime. Nordstoga trying to wrestle it out, being poked at on this near side. Hammering takes exactly that, a hammering. Nordstoga picks it up. 12 seconds, is it enough for one more effort on target? Nordstoga down this near side, that's not to anyone. And it looks like we are indeed, Jono, coming out of this overtime all square.
Yeah, and it did feel like as that overtime wore on that there was a sense of inevitability that there wasn't going to be a goal, and if there was going to be one, it was going to be from Italy, because Grönley was certainly the busier goaltender in that 5-minute spell. And it seemed to me, Alan, that when Norway had the puck there, it just seemed to be in slow motion in comparison to the way they started in that first period of regulation. So no goals in overtime, 3-3 in the 45 minutes of regulation. And it means that we're going to a shootout. We will be taking a quick break as well for the Zamboni to do its thing ahead of the shootout. Of course, we've already seen one penalty strike from Bacca, the opening goal of this game. He's had some practice, but there'll be 3 takers each for both Norway and Italy to try and get the bonus point in this Group B opener in Ostrava.
hashtagu Ostrava 2021. Budeme velmi rádi, když se vrhneme na sociální sítě, jako jsou Facebook, Instagram či Twitter. Čekal jsem nějakou ukážku našeho díče, ale nenašel. A teď rádi tady tweetnu. Ale tam dáte ty fotky, aby se na ně podíváme a třeba se během šampionátu také ta fotka objeví na naší multimediální kostce. Už za chviličku budeme připraven na let. Tady v Ostrava na to, aby jsme mohli zakončit tento duel nájezdem, aby se rozhodlo o vítězi mezi Norskem a Itálií. A my si nás asi trošičku rozproudíme, protože už je kolik. No, po 8. hodině někteří už máte přečené oči, tak fanoušci jste tady! DJ, pojď na to! A kdo si myslí, že v těch nájezdech uspěje tým Norska? A kdo si myslí, že na nájezdy a celé utkání vyhraje tým Itálie? Máme to hezky, se dívám rozdělené na pravou a levou stranu. Všechny připravené nájezdy, tak pojďte pátit svým favoritům.
Well, there we go then. And why not start off with Bakke? No doubting that one, was there? 3 in the game. And Aldun Bakke gets Norway off to a green light start, Jono.
Yeah, almost a complete replica of the goal in the first period. Nerves of steel. Here come the Italians in response. I wonder if Caligaris would have gone first here had he been fully fit. Larch does it instead. Oh, agonising. Stretched away from the red line by Johan Gronli, who was very relieved man. It's 1-0 Norway after the first round, and Larch there just not offering the same level of conviction that we saw moments before from Bakke.
Oh, agonising, isn't it? If he gets more on that, I don't think he stops it from going in. This is Ola Oyseth with the second opportunity, and the second taken as well. Oh, huge advantage Norway. Well, the 22-year-old, talk about stepping up here. No problem at all. Put me down, coach. Put me in. And this is what you'll get. Slams it home, Jono.
Well, the Italians must score this, and it's one heck of a run up this. for the Italians, and Di Paoli, who's already scored 2. He won't be scoring anymore. And Norway will take the 2 points from this opening game in Group B. They surrendered a 2-goal lead in regulation, and despite going all the way 3-2 down, they managed to drag themselves level. Back of the hat-trick hero. He also scored in the shootout, but Johan Gronli, in his first major international tournament, saves one and celebrates the second flying wide as Norway get off to a winning start. Wow.
Well,
what a game, Alan.
Straight away, Jono, what you've got to think here is the Italians have got to be able to pick themselves up here. They've got to dust themselves off and they've got to go again. And that's a huge ask for the coaching staff, because those players will be drained physically from playing overtime, but mentally from fighting back, only to see it all given away without hitting the target in the penalty shootout. It's all very emotional. Out on the ice, Bugla, it is that seems a little bit overtaken by the circumstances out there in front of him. Got Lena Schroeder to help, and there he is. Just real emotion out there on the ice. You never know what stories are behind the scenes, that the meaning that it might have for each of these individual players, but they all know that chasing fifth as a minimum requirement, that's the holy grail here this week. It might be Samson in the spotlight right now, but it's the top 5 that want to reach the light, which is the Paralympic Games in Beijing. Those winter games are an opportunity for these guys to realise they've reached the top of their sport. This is Cavalieri. Well, in fact, it's Florian Planka, sorry, 5, not 6. It's Florian Planka, 44-year-old for Italy. That's not the first time he's picked up a Player of the Match award. He's Samson orchestrating these Player of the Match awards very well, John, I have to say. He's, for a mascot, very commanding of his area. Alton Bakke, I don't think there was any doubt that he was going to get the Player of the Match award for Norway. I think if you had to have an overall one, he'd be that as well. Gronli, the closest you would say on the team for that. We'll hear the Norwegian anthem in a couple of moments, but the smile on the left is a meaningful one from Bakke. It's a hat-trick, it's a win, it's a good start for the Norwegians.
The national anthem of Norway.
The emotions there, absolutely super to see. And the Norwegians, well, this is a huge moment. It's victory against the Italians. It gets them off the board. Nobody, and I mean nobody, wants to finish bottom of this group. They want to be high up with the opportunity to take on those from Group A, the opportunity to play in the 5th and 6th contest. The Italians now know they've got to face Team RPC and Slovakia, and they've got to find some goals. What they've got to do is stop giving the puck away and conceding. It wasn't pretty throughout the course of Game 3 on day 1, but it has ended, Jono, with a Norwegian victory from the penalties.
Absolutely. What a breathless finish to that one in the third period, and then in overtime and the shootout to follow. There's an amicable respect between these two nations. We've heard it many a time. The rhetoric from both sides is that they are very similar teams with similar strengths and aiming for similar rewards from these championships. You mentioned the golden ticket of Beijing next year, and that'll be the primary aim for these two, and it could well come down to them battling with one another in next week's finals. They've still got a couple of tricky Group B games to come, though. Norway next against Slovakia tomorrow, and the Italians are up against RPC, somewhat of an unknown quantity in the A pool. And as you quite rightly say, they've got to bounce back. One thing they will take heart from is the fact they've come from 2 behind to get a point from this one, but they certainly would have liked 2 points. Norway, though, claim that haul, and they are victorious in Ostrava. We'll be back with Game 3 a bit later on in just under an hour's time, where we will see RPC and Slovakia, the two Group B, or Pool B, new boys in Group B, up against one another. But from the Ostrava Arena, myself, Jonathan Bell and Alan March. Until then, it's goodbye.